County Winery's relationship with Death Row Records. Some public notices last month raised questions in disclosing that Bronco Wine Company in Stanislaus County is doing business as Death Row Records. Bronco has been known for wine production throughout its 50-year history. So it's a mystery why the fictitious business name notices in March connected Bronco with a legendary music label that featured hip-hop stars Tupac Shakur, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. People are pretty serious about wine today, but Bronco's association with the music label is on the more jocular side of the wine business. Snoop Dogg, whose first album was released in Death Row's glory days in 1993, acquired what remained of Death Row Records last year. According to an article in Variety, the music label went into bankruptcy protection in 2006 and had several owners in subsequent years. Snoop worked with Treasury Americas to release a Death Row Records limited edition wine in October. The red wine in dark bottles bearing the Death Row label sold online for $24.99 a bottle. A spokesperson for Treasury Americas said Bronco is involved with additional plans for the Death Row wine. Death Row Records wine sold out its limited production in February and fans are loving it, Treasury spokesperson Ellie Farrell wrote in an April 20th email. The brand has some exciting things coming up later this year and we are working with Bronco on bottling. Daniel Leonard, president and chief executive officer of Bronco, said Thursday the public notice was filed on behalf of a customer. Bronco has a contract to bottle the wine and has no other relationship with Death Row Records, he said. No further details were released on what's next for Death Row Records wine. Snoop is a partner in wine with Treasury's parent company, based in Australia. His Cali Red blend is featured under the 19 Crimes brand of Treasury Wine Estates, a global leader in brand marketing and wine sales. Martha Stewart joined the brand last year with a California Chardonnay that sold well, according to a Treasury Estates financial statement in February. The 19 Crimes brand pays tribute to British rogues who were sent on ships to colonize the continent between 1788 and 1868. Customers can read about the 19 misdeeds, 18 of them printed on collectible corks, that could get a person banished to Australia, things like clandestine marriage, stealing fish from a pond, counterfeiting a copper coin and impersonating an Egyptian. Bronco has often been in the top 10 of wine production in the United States. The series winery received Stanislaus County approval in 2017 for expansion of warehouses and other facilities and was approved for another expansion in 2021.
Hey, it's Joker News, you know what it is. Let's jump right back into it. Hit that like and subscribe. So, that's just some recent news about the winery and the connection to Death Row. But even early last year, Snoop Dogg purchased the label he formerly recorded on Death Row Records. The man who used to own the imprint, Suge Knight, recently said that the rapper may have acquired it fraudulently. Now, according to an interview the incarcerated Knight conducted with TMZ, he said that the bankruptcy hearing that was held was a violation of the law. He also feels that Death Row would never be what it was without his guidance and leadership. Now, Knight was serving 28 years in prison after being found guilty of voluntary manslaughter. He's presently paying his debt to society at California State Penitentiary. Now, when questioned about Snoop owning the label, he had something to say. In his response, he was confident that he would retake ownership. Well, if you do, I doubt. First of all, you gotta look at it like this. I am Death Row, so I'm quite sure when it's said and done, all eyes on me and Machiavellia will definitely come back to me and the rest of the stuff he quoted. Now, he said that the man who fronted the money for the label initially, Michael Harris, was involved in the transaction and that Snoop could only purchase the label due to his attorney not showing up for the court date. So they lost by default. But one problem with that is Snoop has a partner, which is Michael Harris. They committed fraud. They bankruptcy fraud. I didn't lose my company by doing anything wrong. They went in and the lawyer didn't show up and they got a default judgment. Now, I sell the judgment. They turned around and said I didn't sell the judgment, but they committed bankruptcy fraud, which we just found out for last week. When they filed for bankruptcy in 95, they said it didn't have anything to do with Death Row. The former executive went as far as calling the transaction illegal, insisting that what was transpired shouldn't have even occurred. Now, just think about that. Why he even say that? Like, what I wonder what made him say that. Or, he's in prison now and everything for the things that he did. But why is he getting on Snoop and saying Snoop is doing, the fraud and the things behind the scenes? just let me know what you think in the comments about that right there. Now, you can't commit bankruptcy fraud and settle and do those type of things. It's called illegal. It's a crime. You can't take the person who committed the worst crime of the century, taking death row from black people, and try to give it to white people and think, he gonna grab Snoop and they gonna get it back. It doesn't work like that. Now, last year, the global investment firm Blackstone announced that the iconic gin and juice rapper acquired the Death Row Records brand and name from MNRK Music Group. Now, the terms of the deal were not disclosed. Now, after taking the catalog off streaming platform, Snoop announced in March that it had returned. Billboard reported that he signed a new deal putting Death Row classic records back on streaming platforms. Now, on March 9th, he took to Twitter to inform fans that we would start hearing the catalog pretty soon again. Now, he didn't go into detail when exactly, but he said, we should start hearing it pretty soon. And so, continuing on even from that, in a recent interview with Big Boy for his Big Boy's Neighborhood podcast, Long Beach, rap legend Snoop Dogg unexpectedly gave his former boss, Suge Knight, his flowers, praising him for changing his life by signing him to Death Row Records. Now, Big Boy replied to respect given with why, because of their past issues, to which Snoop responded, "Call that, let bygones be bygones." He went on saying, "Because I love that man. He changed my life. And that gets overshadowed by the negative energy projected by him and the stupid things that he did when he was in the streets. And the picture that they paint as far as half the man, but if you know the whole man, there was more greatness in him than anything. He just didn't have a chance to highlight that." Now, in an interview with the Breakfast Club from 2016, Snoop said that he and Suge ended their beef. Snoop said, "We were real cool. We had a long 3 to 4 hour conversation one time. When I seen him, I was kind of slipping, doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing, and he slid up behind me, and instead of me reacting the wrong way, I just went into, my regular mode, and I'm going to lay up Boo to the side, and me and you can go upstairs and meet." And we got caught up, on some real love, because it was never that. He never hated me. I just think he was disappointed that he couldn't control me. When you got a record label and you got artists, and I've done this before, you want to control all that artists, but some artists deserve their own lane, and you got to give it to them. Now, this comes day after night. The former CEO and owner of Death Row Records claimed that Snoop, who is the current owner, acquired the legendary label by fraudulent means. Now, I just want to know what you guys think in the comment section below, but hit that like and subscribe and stay tuned.